The OceanGate vessel has met its unfortunate end. And from an evolutionary perspective, this incident raises some intriguing questions about our species. Number 1, why do we take risk? Number 2, does risk-taking differ between men and women? If yes, why? And number 3, how humanity has evolved a balanced risk-taking strategy for survival. Let's see why the OceanGate incident should trigger these questions. Among the 5 dead, there was a father-son duo with a background in business. Another one was a pilot and space tourist. There was a diver, and then there was also the CEO of OceanGate himself, who likely had extensive experience in deep sea exploration. So these were not just men with money, but rather men who had a history of taking risks. With OceanGate, they had the knowledge and the experience to fully appreciate the risk that they were taking. Now, I'm not talking about the risk that comes with descending in a submersible of questionable quality, because the quality issues are only coming up now, so it wouldn't be wrong to assume that the passengers had no clue about it. The risk that I'm talking about is associated with deep sea travel due to its very nature. For engineers and scientists, the deep oceans are darker than the vast skies above. Traveling down is more dangerous than traveling up. So the expedition was always risky, but that didn't stop the 5 men. So what is it with men and risk-taking? Consider extreme sports like bullfighting, mountain biking, rock climbing, and base jumping. The participants are overwhelmingly men. The followers of these sports are also overwhelmingly men. Not just in sports, we see that in our daily lives as well. When you're out in your colony or taking a stroll in the park and you happen to see children practicing skateboard stunts or bicycle wheelies, these are most probably boys. You go out in the road and you see rash drivers, these are most probably men. Now, of course, there will always be exceptions, but statistics point towards men. Why is that? Because evolution shows that for our hunter-gatherer ancestors, men would go out to get food, which would often mean hunting. Men who are more open to taking risks are also more likely to succeed in their hunt. Men who are more successful in their hunt would get more respect and a wider selection of mates to choose from. Hence, risk-taking was encouraged in men. Women, on the other hand, had to stay back and protect their children. And human children are notoriously dependent and defenseless for a very long period of time, as opposed to animal offsprings who grow up very quickly and can take care of themselves. Hence, risk-averse and cautious mothers were able to raise their children better. Hence, risk-taking was discouraged in women. While we live in a modern world, our bodies and minds evolved in a completely different era, and the echoes of that time still reverberate within us. We carry within us the genes of courageous fathers who went out into the unknown to bring us food, and the cautious mothers who stayed back and protected us with their lives. We made it here today because of that partnership, and we made it with those genes intact. But in modern times, how we respond to these genes is completely our call. We'll always have men like those earliest sea explorers who went out in their ships and came back to tell us that the earth isn't flat. We'll always have women like Madame Curie who will risk their lives to save countless others. On the flip side though, we'll always have reckless men and women who have caused and who will continue to cause a lot of harm, a lot of suffering to humanity in general. We'll never know whether the 5 men of the OceanGate disaster were courageous or reckless. But we know that the disaster brought millions of people together to pray, to hope, and to mourn. It is this unity, irrespective of gender, it is this unity between the risk takers and the risk averse, between their courage and their caution, that has made us us.